There we go.
No. Stop.
What's up?
Listen, I have too much to say. I don't want to get in all this intro stuff. We got a lot to do. Go ahead and run us through this, and then we'll get going. Because listen, that game yesterday, Florida, Tennessee, Daryl and I cannot sleep last night. So
we'll get into that. So if you guys don't know, the three of us attended that crazy, sloppy UF Tennessee game yesterday. We'll get into that in a second. Let's start it off. There's a Triple Option podcast, Cigar City Studios. I am your co-host, along with my other co-host, number 11 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, Steven Fantetti.
Good morning.
Good morning. And, Steven, you want to introduce our other co-host
here? Got a very, very special guest from the mean streets of Detroit, Michigan, by way of Nashville, Tennessee. My main man, played football with me in college. We've been friends since 2004. Daryl Graham is in the building. What's up, DG?
What's going on?
Welcome, Daryl.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you coming on. Daryl's got lots to share. If you guys don't know, big names in college football, John Kelly, the best running back in the SEC, better than Darius Geis. I think I gave him the nod yesterday. Daryl Graham's responsible for training that man and giving him all the knowledge, so we'll talk about that, and Mike Weber from Ohio State. But again, we'll get into all that. We got a little bit more to bring you guys today because a lot of big action happened yesterday in college football, in the college football world. But before we get to that, we want to let you guys know we have a sponsor here today. The sponsor of this show is Warby Parker. The most important part about this, if you want to know, is everybody needs to see better. Vision's important in the world. Everyone knows that. Warby Parker brings you good vision with some of the most exemplary glasses in the marketplace right now. If you don't already know, Lexactica is one of the companies that has a 97% market share right now. Pretty much a monopoly, if you want to call it that. No antitrust claims. I'm just making a statement. But at the end of the day, there's other glasses out there that people need more affordable, more available, and we think that obviously Warby Parker brings that to you, because I remember yesterday seeing Chad with some glasses on. I was like, Chad, I'd never seen you wear those before. That's and guess what? What were those glasses you had?
Those
on?
were some Warby Parkers, man. I got a lot of compliments on them. Yeah. Law noticed them. He said, I think his exact words were, "You look
professional,
mature." He's jealous of him. So
yeah, he was.
And I only have to wear them for long distances, but they help me see great. Help me see all the plays. Help me see Florida. Kick some Tennessee ass yesterday. So I'd love me some Warby Parkers. So you want to tell them about the codes?
Yeah. Well, listen, our listeners get a free 5-day trial of Warby Parker glasses when you use the link warbyparkertrial.com/3XO, which is for 3XO Pod. Go there, get a free 5-day trial. Try them out yourself. If you don't like them, your free 5-day trial is over. But give it a shot. There's some of the best on the market. They're emerging. I highly recommend them to you, and so does Chad, obviously. He's an actual user of them. So we're not actually, just talking about a product for no reason. We actually have people here who've used them. So please check them out.
All right, there we go. So without further ado, so what we did for you guys yesterday is we went ahead and we took we were like live correspondents to the game. We were eyes and ears at this game if you were not able to attend. So we took a couple short clips. We don't want to bore you with them being too long. A couple short clips with our feelings and thoughts pre-game, in the first quarter, in halftime, and post-game. And we'll just kind of walk you through the game. And we're also going to talk about other college football today. Don't worry. But, again, since we had such an experience yesterday.
We were in the swamp, baby.
We were in the swamp. Thanks to Daryl, thanks to John Kelly. We were 5 rows up behind the Tennessee bench. I mean, we saw Butch Jones yelling at players. I mean, it was beautiful.
That was Daryl's first trip in the swamp, right, DG?
First trip, yeah.
Maybe first and only. He doesn't know.
Now, listen.
We'll talk about that later.
First and last.
Yeah, first and Daryl's bitter as heck, as you can see. Now, Daryl's been in a lot of different college football stadiums throughout the country. He knows a lot of college coaches. A lot of kids Daryl's coached in high school have been recruited by top programs or playing at top programs right now, and will be even playing next year and the years after. How does the Swamp match up, though, from a stadium perspective from all the other ones that you've attended venue-wise?
It was a great atmosphere. Still don't think it's better than Neyland Stadium.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
would expect nothing less.
Overall, it was a good environment. A lot of hospitality.
Yeah. Some guys were giving us free Tito's. We were walking by on our way to the stadium, dude. That was crazy.
So, I had my Florida gear on. They were all Tennessee'd out. They had Tennessee orange on. Lots of Tennessee fans there. a lot of good ribbing back and forth. Some guy mistook Steve for Peyton Manning.
You call that mistook? Yeah, I played quarterback in high school. I can see that. I can see why there'd be some kind of
yeah, he looks just as goofy as Peyton Manning, so I can definitely see that. But let's start this off. This is our pregame.
Yeah, what were we saying while we were driving up? Because we were going
Yeah.
up 75, looking at the hurricane damage and the Army and what was going on when we were driving.
This is about a minute and a half. Hopefully it comes through. I'm going to put it right up the microphone.
What
Here
were we
go.
thinking?
Hold on. We got technical difficulties here. I had to
Speaker on, big
I
brother.
had to put the speaker on. Like, why can't we hear this? Sorry about this. This is great podcasting, by the way.
What we wanted to do was we want to take our thoughts before all the events happened yesterday. And here's kind of what we
On
did.
the day of the UF
There you go.
Tennessee game, Saturday morning, driving up, 3XO Pod. I'm here with Steve and Darryl. We're going to be having a live podcast tomorrow, but for now we'll give you a little correspondence. My thoughts on the game quickly. I think that
They weren't quick thoughts either.
pretty quick.
Tennessee's rushing defense, a little suspect, had over 500 yards rushing against them, Georgia Tech. But the problem is Florida only had about 11 yards rushing against Michigan. Of course, we had our game taken away from us last week for Hurricane Irma, so we don't have a warm-up. So they're favored by 4.5. Florida's favored by 4.5. I picked Florida to win in spite of that. Here is number 11 in the program.
Second intro today.
Steve Fantetti.
What's going on? Listen, I'm here with my main man, Daryl Graham. DG, say what's up, Daryl. What's up? DG gonna be coming on the pod tomorrow. Daryl knows what's up because he's also a Tennessee fan. We're here to see our boy John Kelly tear up that Gator defense, which is whack as hell. Daryl, what do we got John running for today? Tell him.
Pretty accurate.
Very accurate.
Between 180 and 200.
I like that. Probably one or two touchdowns, maybe. I think Gators got too many guys out, so I don't care what the spread is. No one cares about the spread. So we got Tennessee winning this game by 10 points.
All right, there you go.
All right. So we were off a little bit on the score.
And before we go too much further, I want to recognize also we want to apologize last week for not bringing you your 3XO pod. Of course, we had Hurricane Irma came through Tampa. Well, it came through the state of Florida, and all of us evacuated. So we tried to work around it, but we just couldn't do it. We were all gone. We are out of power. We're all safe. Don't worry. No major damage. But I just wanted to acknowledge that.
No one's worried.
And we're not gonna unless we have another major hurricane. We're not gonna leave you. We'll be here every week from now on. So go ahead, y'all. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, great prediction by you because what did John finish with all-purpose?
237.
237 yards all-purpose. Still wasn't enough. I mean, they didn't give him the ball. The thing that bothered me the most about this game, obviously, it was an offensive struggle in the first half. Chad, as you know, it was like 6-3 at halftime. You know, no one could put the ball in the end zone. The biggest problem I had is they did not run the ball, Tennessee, when they needed to enough. They didn't give it to John enough. And I remember it was in the third quarter. They were on the 1 yard line. John had a great 25-yard run to get him to inside the 5, and they threw the ball.
Well, it was multiple series. They had 7 plays inside the 10, and he did not touch the ball at all.
Why would you not give your best player the ball? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And this is the struggle that people are having with Butch Jones continuing to be the football coach at Tennessee is you have to override your offensive coordinator for making a bad call. We saw this in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. You can't throw the Seahawks taught us you can't throw the ball on the 1 yard line. It ain't going to work. And they threw an interception, didn't they?
Threw an
interception, and it cost them a touchdown. You lost the game by a touchdown. You put that in, it changes the momentum of the game. You're ahead by a touchdown. You put Florida in a different position where you're forcing Felipe Franks to try to win the game for you. Luckily, he threw a Hail Mary yesterday that, Steve Spurrier and all those other gods there let the ball trickle down into Mr. Cleveland's hands there.
Let's not get too much further because we were trying to get this chronologically, right? So let me give the first quarter update. So
Go ahead.
First quarter, all that happened. It was boring as hell, right, guys? The first 3 quarters, total of 9 points scored. So it was boring as hell. A couple field goals traded back and forth. Tennessee missed a couple. But let's before we get too far.
Go ahead.
First quarter update, 10 seconds long. Let me see if I can remember to put the speaker on this time.
Check-in is first and 15 in the first quarter. Steve, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Vols defense giving a little bit too much on the run. Need to be stout up front. Front seven's not playing strong. Got to pick that up.
All right, see you
Wow.
There you go. Okay, so that's first quarter. So nothing's happening. First quarter, second quarter, again, trading field goals back and forth. Tennessee makes their first 51-yarder in the second quarter with 2:58 left to go. Then we come up. You know what? There's not much. I mean, you guys want to talk anymore about the halftime? Let's go to the halftime one too, because there's not like I said before, not much happened in that that first quarter. But the only thing that did happen is at the end of the half, right? Y'all had a field goal attempt, and then I reversed you. I think I'm gonna talk about that.
Missed it.
Yeah,
It was missed.
Gators lead 6-3. Both defenses looking good. Steve, what do you think so
this
far?
halftime.
Offensive struggle. That's all I can say about that. You good? Gator fans trying to get through. Let me tell you something right now. Tennessee's got to put some drives together.
Did I or did I not?
They got to be able to throw the ball.
I reverse jinxed the Tennessee kicker.
You did, but this game's coming down to a field goal. Whoever has the ball last wins.
Okay, all right. We'll see it. We see it at the end of the game.
Well, it did happen that way. Whoever had the ball last wins.
All right, now let's get into the meat of it, though. Third quarter, fourth quarter, it got exciting. I mean, what do you want to talk about first?
I mean, I kind of already jumped the gun on this. I'm just upset that they didn't give John the ball enough. I mean, you got to run the ball. He's the best running back in the SEC. He's your best player. You have to continue to give him the ball. And I don't think necessarily the quarterback was the problem, but a lot of the play calling I thought was suspect, DG. I don't think they ran the ball enough. You have to ride your horse, man, to the end to win games like this. I mean, other schools have done it. It's the same thing you do. You give your best player the ball when it matters most. And I thought they would have chewed up the clock more, and it would have been less time for Florida to have the ball at the end to put some plays together. And they end up obviously having enough time to obviously do that. I mean, Darryl, you got any other thoughts?
Give John Kelly the ball.
That's all you've been saying the whole ride. We were driving home last night, man. He couldn't stop talking about it, man.
It was just questionable, that last play. Defensive backs not. I mean, I didn't see a prevent defense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
Don't let nobody behind you. Rule number 1.
At the end of the game, you got to protect that end zone, and it wasn't protected at all.
No, that's a good point. I'm surprised. They were in a regular cover 2 at the end.
Quarters, I don't know. Yeah, there's something.
But there was no free safeties over top, no help.
Let me speak in defense of surprisingly speaking to defense of Tennessee's defense because there were two things in play. There were 9 seconds left, right? And, of course, we're talking about the end of the game. And let me say the score, too. It's 26-20. I don't know if some people may not even watch the game yet. That was the final. So, and there's a Hail Mary play that Florida won the last play. So, anyway, 9 seconds left. Florida's at their own, I think, 40. Yeah. But they have 2 timeouts. So, they can have one of those mid-level passes if they got it. And then Pinheiro has a huge leg. So, he can kick a 70-yarder easy. So, I think Tennessee was trying. They couldn't do a prevent defense. They had to also protect that middle of the field.
But they called a timeout. They could have put guys back. I have to. Yeah. There's no defense here. I
still would have dropped my safeties.
2 at least. Yeah. You have to have help over top. Abernathy was 1-on-1 against Cleveland, and there was nobody there for help. No safety help.
Well, they rushed 4. Would you have rushed 3 to get another defense back? Yeah, that's probably what they should have done.
But that's the standard. And it's like Florida called a timeout after they got booed for basically doing nothing with the ball before that play. And all of a sudden, you just turn the tables. But, I mean, the point is Tennessee had a timeout. They had time to put something together, more than ample time to put a proper defense in, and they just didn't do it. And Darryl tells me this morning, correct me if I'm wrong, was it the Swamp Donkey said, we beat Tennessee with that same play 2 years ago.
Yes, that's the same exact play.
I mean, how do you not watch film on that if you're Tennessee's coaching staff and not? I mean, it's just inexcusable.
And even more eerie, the same exact yardage. It was 63 yards both times.
Both times the same. It just doesn't make sense. And there's people, I mean, Darryl being one of them, just yelling, "We want less miles." I mean, I don't know if those are going to be starting. I don't think Butch is going to lose his job, right? He have to lose a couple more games before week 6 or 7 to happen. But anyway, we spent enough time on this game.
Yeah.
We want to make sure you guys know we were in the swamp for this game yesterday. We were live, where our thoughts were on it. A lot of action happened yesterday. Let's go to a couple other games. Anything else?
Well, we had the post game too. Let me play the post game.
Oh, what you got? You got the results? I didn't want to hear that, man.
So and also that play is called Train Right Open, Big Ben In. That's the play name. So sorry about that, Tennessee fans.
Yeah, whatever.
But not that sorry. Here we go. So this is the post game. So I'm with. I'll just let it speak for yourself. Here we go.
All right, post game. Here with 2 very disappointed Vols fans. I thought we were going to lose the whole time. The Hail Mary pass was crazy. How you feeling right now, Steve?
Shit was lucky. That's all I'm saying. It was lucky. Frankson can't throw a ball over 10 yards the whole game. They throw a Hail Mary.
That's so true, though.
Yeah.
And they got to get JK the ball more.
Scoreboard. Darryl, you want to say anything? No?
All I have to say is offensive coordinator is questionable. Number 4 is the best player on that team. He needs the ball.
Not going to deny that.
All right, so there you have it. So it was it was an exciting game. It was sloppy. Fourth quarter. I think. Oh, my stat of the day. Let me do my stat of the day. I forgot to do that
What
last
you got,
time
my man?
too. And it of course deals with this game.
course
So
it does.
only, as I said, only. Well, I have two of them actually. Only 9 total points in the first 3 quarters. The
Yep.
teams combined for 37 points in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter alone?
Fourth quarter alone, 37 points. It's crazy. And also, that was the longest pass thrown by a UFQB in 5 seasons. So, and Steve was not wrong. Felipe Franks had not thrown anything over 10 yards
Yep.
until that point. Had not completed a pass
knew
over
it.
10 yards to that point. He had not played poorly. They hadn't taken the reins off. He's a freshman, redshirt freshman QB, and they weren't taking the reins off. So
More of a reason why Tennessee should have won that game. You're playing against a quarterback who can't complete a pass over 10 yards. There's no reason why you don't. You run the ball down their throats, chew up clock. Anyway, we've said that enough.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some big games yesterday and some big upsets
I'm sorry.
yesterday.
I'm coming one more time because I
Go
want to
ahead.
say one more thing. So we were so close to the Tennessee bench that after that first interception, I got a little video of Butch Jones chewing out the defense.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put that up.
You need
on
to post
the,
that on Twitter,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Twitter
Check that
page.
out. We're gonna put it up on
Oh,
Twitter. We're gonna
man.
put it up on Facebook. It's great.
He gets
we're right
red
top.
0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I just want to talk about some of the games yesterday. There's obviously other games in college football. I was obviously proud on Friday night. USF did a good job. Flowers continues to blossom, for lack of a better term.
4 throwing
for USF.
TDs, a rushing TD, 100 yards rushing
Yeah.
as well. Like he's in the mix here with Heisman.
He's
don't
not
you
in
think?
the mix. No,
He's in the
he's
mix.
having a great year. But again, they beat an unranked Illinois team who's in the bottom dwellers of the Big Ten. It's good. Don't get me wrong. This is good for USF. I'm a big Charlie Strong fan. I'm glad that he's doing a good job coaching that team and getting them ready. But again,
Me too.
they got a long season still ahead of them. They got to play some stiffer competition before I think he gets that kind of talk. He didn't, have 237 all-purpose yards against the Florida Gator defense. So it's a little different kind of scenarios. But it's good to see for the hometown squad. But let's talk about this big upset game. Everyone's been talking about it. It's been on ESPN a lot too. Is how LSU went down against Mississippi State. I had LSU win this game big and clear. That
Everyone
was
did.
wrong. Daryl said Mississippi State was going to win. He called this.
I won every game yesterday beside the Tennessee Volunteers
And
Texas.
I took USC over Texas.
And he put
So you
$500 on all these games too. So he's
So
a
he's
rich man
buying
right
us dinner today. But yeah, Mississippi State 37-7 whooping on LSU. And LSU, what did guys have yesterday? About 84 yards, I think, something like that rushing. He didn't even break the century
Nope,
mark.
didn't break century mark.
15 carries, 76 yards.
Yeah, that's
you
all.
go.
Yeah, usually if you're playing a team, Mississippi State isn't that bad of a squad. They're just never able to kind of break through to be one of the higher ranked teams
they're
in the SEC.
Yeah, it's tough.
So you're playing an SEC opponent. You're still going to face quality competition. Usually, guys should be triple digit rushing in a game like this. But Mississippi State playing at home, I think LSU just took them too lightly, and I just think Mississippi State for some reason was able to kind of impose their will on LSU. I think LSU got down early, which they did. They were down early in this game, and LSU probably it was almost like they got shell-shocked, and they just couldn't climb their way out of that game. And ended up getting worse, and they lost. They lost by 30 points.
Penalties.
Yeah, they were big in that game.
I think they had 11 penalties for, over 100 yards.
Yeah. Undisciplined football is clearly not how you're going to obviously find a way to win. The other upset, though, Vanderbilt, Kansas State, and DG called this one, too.
Yes, I did.
So, do you know anything about this game, about what happened? I didn't actually catch this game. I just saw the score.
Well, I heard it was 14-7. Pretty good game. I like Coach Mason doing a good job over there at Vanderbilt. Maybe we need to hire him at Tennessee.
And you had a good observation before too, Daryl, about the crowd at that game, right?
Yeah, it was 20,000
Kansas
State fans out of 38,000 fans there.
That's a Vanderbilt home game.
Yeah, man.
That's
Well, Nashville is a tourist city and a lot of people from different states, so you'll probably get a lot of fans. Even at the Titan game, you have more visiting
The road
team
team,
fans
yeah.
than Titan fans. So
And Vanderbilt 3-0. Don't look now. 3-0, threatening in the SEC East, man.
they're still gonna finish 3-8, 3-9. Don't matter.
I don't think
They
so.
can have
Well,
that.
how'd you guys do against Vanderbilt last year? How'd that go?
Who's you guys?
Tennessee.
Oh, I know. I gotta check. I don't know off the top of my head. Come on, man. I'm supposed to tell him that.
I knew that already.
It don't
What did
matter.
I
How'd you
ask?
guys do in the SEC championship game against Alabama?
We were there in the SEC championship game.
Yeah,
so
by default. Jeez.
Tennessee's too sorry to get
Let's
in.
not
That's
get
why.
into that. Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
All right, let's talk about the other one. I don't consider this an upset, but people do, obviously by rankings. Clemson put that whooping on Louisville yesterday. And,
Yeah.
I picked Louisville in this game. I like them at home. Clemson beat Louisville. You remember at home? It was a close game last year. I think Daryl was just taking the teams opposite what I was picking, but I don't think he actually had any actual standing for it.
Well, I just knew you didn't know football.
Yeah, you and everybody else. No, but this game, I'm surprised. Lamar Jackson, I thought, having more experience than Kelly, who is Clemson's quarterback, I actually thought that they would be able to control the game more. And I thought Louisville, they actually have a pretty good ability to sustain drives with Lamar Jackson because he's a dual-threat quarterback. I thought they'd do a lot better job keeping Clemson's offense off the field, and clearly that was not the case. I saw there was a lot of 3-and-outs with Louisville yesterday, like I said, which is opposite of what they do to being able to sustain drives and why they're usually such a good football team. But Clemson just shows the real strength. They're the real deal, number 3 in the country. I mean, I'd be scared to play them right now.
I'm not sure if they're above Alabama in my mind right now for the national championship favorite because they don't have that SEC schedule. But I will say Lamar Jackson, he had a off day. I'm doing air quotes for those not watching on Facebook Live. But he still had 317 yards and 3 TDs, although most of it was in garbage time when the game was out of hand. But that really hurts his Heisman candidacy, I think.
Yeah. How many interceptions did he have?
A lot. I can check that for you.
He threw
real
3,
quick,
didn't he?
Yeah, it was not good.
You think this actually hurts his Heisman chances?
Yeah.
You do? 1 loss?
Yeah.
I think he had a loss last year, and he lost to Clemson last year. Oh, no.
Yeah, he lost to Kentucky.
Is that who they lost to? Yeah, they beat Clemson last year, lost to Kentucky. And he's still able to win.
But his numbers were a lot higher
than in this game. I mean, that's a quality opponent he lost to. It's still early in the Heisman race. We'll talk about our Heisman picks at the end.
They're going to lose to Kentucky again. So
Louisville will?
Yeah.
Wow, you heard it here first.
There it is. He's calling it.
Bold.
He had 1 INT, by the way.
Oh, okay.
1 interception. He had 64 yards rushing along with that, too. So
how many touchdowns did he have?
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3. That's what I thought.
Throwing
3
touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, no rushing touchdowns.
I mean, that's a quality game. At the end of the day, I think Heisman voters are going to look. I mean, did he do enough to help his team win?
No.
I mean,
Jalen Hurts for the Heisman.
Right now?
Right now.
My pick when we started this podcast 3 weeks ago was Baker Mayfield.
That was good right now.
I'm staying with it. I still like John Kelly as long as they keep giving him the ball at Tennessee's running back. Definitely. I had Mike Weber in the conversation too. What's going on with Mike, man? Is he going to get healthy? You have some inside knowledge on that. What's going on with him?
Yeah, he'll be okay. Just got to be patient with a guy like that. I think you really don't see him until the big games. So when the big games come around, he'll be ready and prepared.
I mean, he's Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. I mean, he's no joke. He ran for 1,000 yards. He had double-digit touchdowns. I mean, he's really a workhorse for Ohio State. Now, but he's injured. Was it his hamstrings? Why that's been hampering him out?
Yeah, he's having hamstring issues, and with hamstrings, it's a season battle and injury.
Yeah, that's easily
it's up and down,
re-injured.
Yeah. So
absolutely,
he just has to be patient and keep working. But I honestly feel that when the big games come around, he'll be there for him.
Yeah, it looks like they're slowly bringing him in. I mean, he only had a couple carries yesterday. He didn't play much the week before. I don't think he played at all, but I think he dressed. I think they're just trying to bring him back slowly. I think you're right. I think they're trying to save him for the big thrust of the Big Ten season when they face their big competition. Obviously, you don't want to have him bring him back too early and then lose him for the year. So that makes sense. But Ohio State was obviously victorious over Army yesterday. I mean, that was
let's say some of these scores too already. So by the way, Clemson beat Louisville 47-21. What's that score on that game? Ohio State 38-7 over Army.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that game?
No, I mean, I didn't watch it. I just expect Ohio State to win. I just want to know if Mike Weber was going to be back. Obviously not. So, I mean, Auburn, we got to give a shout out to Auburn for law. Auburn finally got a nice solid victory over Mercer yesterday, 24-10. I don't know how Stidham threw for 364 yards and didn't get any touchdowns. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, how does that happen?
I mean, Stidham's new to the program. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think it's just going to take some time. I know a lot of Auburn fans are not really patient right now, which I don't blame them to be because they do have a lot of talent, but they want their offense to emerge better. I mean, Petway's obviously been the workhorse for them. He had 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he fumbled once, but I think Stidham's going to, catch his stride within the next, 2 to 3 weeks. I think you'll see him put up bigger numbers. I'm glad to see him because his first 2 weeks, he didn't really put up any big numbers, and the offense looked really sorry. But I think they're going to be on the rise. But again, they played Mercer. I mean, we'll see what happens when they play some more stiff competition coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. And do we already go through the Oklahoma game? Do we mention? I mean, I know you glanced over Baker Mayfield and his 4 TDs and. Last week planted the flag because we didn't get to talk to you guys last week.
Oh, yeah.
So we can talk about some stuff.
now, since you know Weber personally, did you hear anything from the Ohio State faithful about what Baker did? Did anybody call you about that and talk to you about their feelings? I haven't talked to any Ohio State fans that I know personally about what their feelings were.
a lot of people thought it was disrespectful,
Right.
but
They're over it though, or are they like gonna keep this?
of course they over it. I mean, you can only hold that so long.
Because there's a chance they could see them in the college football playoff. They're gonna play each other again. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think he earned that. He deserved it.
Who, Baker?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think
Me
too.
too.
I'm glad he did it. I'm actually
what?
a Ohio State guy.
I'll
I like
also
him.
I'll also go on record as saying I like more of that in football. I like Baker
passion.
Mayfield, playing the flag. I like John Kelly yesterday, man. John Kelly.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
a-
That's what I was gonna get at.
I'm a Gator fan, but I love John Kelly doing the
Did
chomp.
the chomp, man.
Yeah,
that was
he reined it in.
ballsy.
He did the chomp.
I was talking to John after the game, we all were, and John didn't care. He's like, "Yeah, I did it." He goes, "I knew I was getting a flag," and he was cool with it. He was trying to get his team motivated. But to do that in the swamp, I love it because I was reading an article on that, and I think Baker will be the same thing because of how technology is coming. You know how GIFs are being so popular on cell phones, and people post them all the time. They said two of the biggest gifts right now for college football are when Baker plants the flag when they play Ohio State. That'll be there forever. And they said John Kelly will forever have one of the greatest GIF videos spots ever in the Tennessee-Florida rivalry when they show him scoring his touchdown doing the Gator chomp.
Well, I don't know if
playing that video.
If Tennessee would have won, I think it would have gone in the pantheon as one of the greatest.
It already is. No, I'm already putting
I
it
don't
there.
know. Yo, you're putting it there.
Listen,
okay.
you're a Gator apologist. That's fine. We
I
understand.
don't have to apologize. We won.
Yeah,
so.
you, by default. Shoot.
No, I
If
tried.
Daryl, if Daryl and I were calling the defense for the last play of the game, you guys wouldn't have won.
Hey,
it.
I don't doubt that, man. I don't doubt that. It was some bad coaching, I think. We don't need to get back into the
No, we're
Tennessee
not.
game,
We're
but I
not.
just
I
did
don't-
want to mention that. I did like
hurts.
when John Kelly did that Gator chomp. And at the end of the game, you saw I think it was Chauncey Gardner came up right up to us, and we're not going to mention what.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't want to implicate anyone in
He
any
was
crimes.
literally 4 rows in front of us, in front of all the Vols fans, doing the Gator chomp, and somebody at this table, I'm not going to say who it is, may or not have
Allegedly.
thrown their towel at him, and he was
Allegedly.
like, "Who just did that?" Allegedly, that's all
Allegedly.
alleged. We don't even know. No one has it on video. We don't know what happened. There could have been, someone on the grassy knoll who threw
Yeah.
that towel. We have no idea.
There's a
who
second
it
towel
was.
thrower
There's a
on the
second-
grassy knoll.
The magic towel theory. We don't know what happened, but we know allegedly someone got mad over it. We don't know who it was.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, another upset. I'm not going to talk much about it, but I'm really shocked Stanford lost to San Diego State. I know San Diego.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
I know Tony's happy because Tony, a friend of the podcast, will never come on. But I don't know why he won't. But he's too shy. But San Diego State upset Stanford. I'm shocked because
Wow.
Stanford was supposed to be making strides and they continue to drop.
And they're 1-2.
I know. That's what I mean. And they're still ranked. They're 19th in the country. They're going to probably
Not
fall
anymore.
to the
Oh,
top
they're definitely gonna fall.
25.
Yeah, absolutely. Who did they lose to first? Who's their first loss? Do we know?
I
Top
can't
of our
remember
heads.
who they lost to.
But
It was
yeah,
week 1. I know that.
You got to forgive us, guys, because normally, we're college football junkies just like the rest of you. But yesterday, our whole day was taken up. We left at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
Didn't get back. I didn't get back home till 1:30
It
last
was a
night.
good
We're talking
day.
to you on Sunday morning right now. So I did a little bit of research this morning. I watched some highlights.
Research?
I throw on ESPN while I'm getting ready and drinking coffee and stuff. So yeah,
Tito's.
we forgive you, Tito's.
We all had Tito's and lemonade. Was drinking.
Hey, y'all
choice
going to the ball
yesterday.
walk?
Yeah.
No, I'm just throwing out inside jokes to you
Oh my
guys.
god, that was crazy. You're gonna talk about that. By the way, just one more game I really want to touch on before we touch on a couple other big topics. But I want people. What's that?
USC.
Oh yeah, well I was gonna talk about that next. Let's actually talk about USC Texas next. Just real quick, I want to say something fast. I don't want to get into too much details. We'll get into the details about USC, but I always want to let people know to look out for Washington. Number 6 team in the country. They beat Fresno State yesterday 48-16. Expected to win. But if you look at the margins that they're winning by, I think they're probably the best team in the Pac-12 right now.
Wow, that's bold.
And I think people think it's USC because they're ranked higher. And
Yeah.
they're right there. I mean, USC, I think, is ranked probably 4th in the country, and Washington 6th. Those two teams are probably going to be the ones that are going to run the table. But watch out for them because they can continue to climb. If one of the top 5 teams lose, don't be surprised to see Washington work their way in as a potential candidate, obviously, for being in the college football playoffs. So I just want to make sure I noted that because they're kind of flying. No one's talking about them.
Yeah,
and I think Washington.
well, here's the
can
thing,
fly
Steve.
in.
This is great because in 2 weeks they play USC, so we're gonna find
Oh,
out
that's
real
not what it is?
quick.
Thank God.
We're gonna
That's
find
it.
out real quick
Who's
who
the
the
pretender? out of
dominant
those two
team
teams.
is.
And that's a great segue because USC. Daryl and I stayed up late to watch this. You were with us.
Yep.
Daryl, took Texas to win, which is not. He kind of took it late. I mean, we just got home and turned this on because we were following him in the drive back. You got any thoughts on this game? Because this game went into overtime.
Yeah, I just felt bad for you, so we had to get you one.
All my picks were dying yesterday, man.
So we gave you one. But the freshman quarterback for Texas, he looked impressive and
He did.
poised in that overtime,
Except for that fumble.
except for the fumble. Yeah, but that's what you get when you got freshmen with the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, they're not thinking about how they have to protect the ball. They're not thinking about making sure that they protect, their ability to still get points at the end. And that fumble cost them the game because they turned the ball over, didn't score, and all USC needed to do was kick a field goal at the end of the game to win. That's exactly what they did. But
yeah,
this
again,
was good.
The score on that and it was overtime, 27-24. Just
Yeah.
so we note that.
Yeah, USC wins, so they're going to probably stay where they're ranked right now. I don't think there's going to be much movement in that.
Maybe Sam Darnold did something for his Heisman candidacy as well. 397 yards, 3 TDs.
I think he's definitely in the running. I mean, he's not in my top, 4 to 5 right now. We'll actually get into this, who each of our Heisman picks really are at the end in terms of our top 4 or 5. But
sure.
Vince Young, Matt Leinart back in the building
man.
once again yesterday.
2006 all over again.
God.
Rose Bowl.
Easily one of the best games ever,
Yep.
except for the game yesterday, even though the Vols didn't win. I thought it was a great game yesterday.
It was exciting.
I actually consider USC Texas to be, I don't know if I want to call it the greatest college game ever. It's got to be in the top 2 or 3, I think.
It's up there, yeah.
God, it was good. It was good to see them in the building yesterday. I liked how, I forget who the receiver was just before the overtime, caught a touchdown in the USC end zone. Matt Leinart was there, and he dapped up Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart was all about it. He's still a stud, still the king of USC's campus. I love seeing that when those guys go back. That was a great game. I wish it was. I actually wouldn't have caught it, but I'm surprised. I know they're playing out west. They don't have those games on early. For a lot of people to catch. I talked to a lot of people this morning briefly, just through social media and through texting of what games they watched yesterday. I want to get their opinions too on some stuff. And a lot of them said that they didn't catch the USC game because it was on too late. They just didn't get it. And that's kind of sad. That was a classic game. That's a good game.
That was a good game.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they don't move that up earlier. I understand they're on Pacific time, but kind of one of the things about college football you got to care about. And that's why I talk about Washington flying under the radar because they're on, these West Coast teams. You don't get to catch them a lot, and they don't get a lot of the notoriety sometimes even for the Heisman races.
Well, and not to mention, too, I mean, down here in the South, college football is almost a religion.
Right.
You got pockets up in the Northeast. You got pockets in the Midwest and the West Coast that are passionate, but it's not like it is down here in the South. So I agree. Like, everyone in the SEC, they get a lot of pub. If you're over there, if you're at Washington, if you're Washington State, it's a little harder to get the focus on you.
Yeah.
And especially ESPN, as everyone knows, is based in Bristol, Connecticut, and everyone knows also they got a huge Northeast bias, at least in my opinion. They give a lot of a pub to Penn State, I think, in my opinion, just because that's probably the biggest team up there. But yeah, it's hard for those West Coast teams, and you can't really forgive them. What are they going to arrange their schedules to accommodate us? They're going to they're going to play their games when they want to play their games.
So much. Yeah, I hear you. So what?
I think we forgot about one game.
Which one?
Memphis and UCLA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Of course.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. That's another upset yesterday.
I think that's another one of my picks, Steve.
You know what, Daryl? We were driving up, and I was like, "Listen, I guarantee you, UCLA whoops them." But Memphis does this every year. They seem to find a game the past 2-3 years where they ruin someone's season, and they just did it to UCLA yesterday. And we obviously did not watch this game because we were in the swamp yesterday. But when we saw the scores, I couldn't believe it. We were following it. This is bad. UCLA is going to drop out of the top 25. Those of you who had Josh Rose on your college fantasy team can no longer have him because he usually puts up big numbers every week.
4 TDs, 463 yards in this game, but to no avail.
And I didn't watch this game, but when I look at this, I mean, he threw for 463 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, it hurts him because he's not going to probably be in the Heisman conversation losing these games. But if I'm a UCLA Bruins fan, to me, what bothers me is their defense. I mean, your offense puts up 45 points. You're supposed to win this game against a Memphis football team.
Yeah.
Well, that's Pac-12 football. It's more of an offensive football.
Yeah, it's spread out. Yeah. They do the spread. They just throw the ball around. I mean, you're absolutely right. But I'm just saying, I mean, those teams, this is why people at the start of the year were wondering what kind of jump UCLA is going to make and can they put themselves into the, being a Power 5 conference team. Can they be a team that can take that next step to make a fight or a battle to be able to get into the college football playoff because they're starting so low in the rankings? But again, when you can't defensively stop a Memphis team and they put up 48 points on you, you're not going to be able to compete against the best of the best, the Clemsons, the Alabamas. Yeah, and that's the problem with this game, and that's what kind of hurts because it's too bad because when UCLA can really be relevant, it's fun for college football. They're one of those teams people say like Notre Dame. When Notre Dame's relevant, I think college football is fun. I think when UCLA is relevant, I think it's good for college football. And they're obviously relevant, but they're not going to be there at the end when they're losing games like this. So that was the big problem. But, hey, kudos to Memphis. They can pull off a game like that, an upset like that.
Huge.
Good for them. But, it's just kind of upsetting to see that. I'd like to see UCLA in it at the end, but now they're going to drop out of top 25 just like Tennessee will. I think Stanford's going to drop out. So you're going to see a lot of teams that were ranked in top 25 this week you expected to stay. They're all going to be gone, and you're going to see teams like Washington State, these other teams, Auburn, they're going to climb and get up in the rankings, Virginia Tech teams, because of these other teams losing and falling out. So the rankings, you'll see a nice shuffle this week. But again, your top 5, top 10's probably not going to change.
Nah.
I think very much those will probably stay the same.
Also, I mean, Florida State, Miami didn't play this week because of Irma again. So
that got postponed. Florida got a game postponed from last week, so there's going to be some other games playing.
Yeah, so shout out to all our Miami and Florida State fans out there. Do you want to shout out one particular guy who might be a little bit of a snitch? I don't know.
No, I don't. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
I'm just kidding.
My accountant.
Last week, Law and I were talking trash about Steve.
Oh yeah. No. Let's
shout out.
Let's not talk about that.
So do we have any conspiracy theories as to why we didn't even mention this? Law's not here.
Ooh, we got a conspiracy
Where's
theory.
Law? I don't know. Let's see.
Because Law was first of all, I just want to make a quick comment about last week. Thank you.
Steve's conspiracy theory corner.
I'm just going to tell you something real quick. Now, listen, I don't care what they said last week about the spread. I understand the spread. I am mathematically able to understand it. So don't listen
Steve's
to the
defense.
I almost filed a defamation suit against Chad Law last week because of this, because it's not true. I don't care about the spread because I pick winners. Sam Rothstein's my guy. Just watched the movie Casino. That's all he did. He didn't play the spread in Casino. You see that. All what matters at the end of the day is who wins the games. I don't like the second best participation trophies. Yeah, the team I picked lost by 3 points, but I still win. I don't like that kind of betting. It's just not how I am. Allegedly, if we even did place bets, which we don't.
Which we don't.
It's
illegal.
It's right. It's not illegal.
In Florida, it's illegal.
Partially, yeah.
Yeah, partially.
So, but that's just talking about that if people were actually engaging in that kind of activity. But, the big conspiracy yesterday, because we got to talk about this just for 2 minutes. I mean, we're approaching 37 minutes, so we're getting close to the end. I want to talk about a couple. I think you had a couple other topics you wanted to talk about. I want to round out with Heisman. We can look forward to the games next week, and then we'll wrap up. But I want to give DG to talk about this too. If you have any thoughts more about this, is the conspiracy we have is. And this is all alleged. I have no foundation for this. I have some people telling me in the crowd yesterday that I was talking to is, did Butch Jones throw the game for a payoff? Because why would you not put a prevent defense in? Why would you not give your star running back more than 19 touches, 19 carries? I mean, something's a little weird. So was there point shaving? Was this blue chips all over again?
Yeah, man.
We don't know why he would do this.
There's really no other valid explanation because it was inexplicable why he did that. I mean, Tennessee had numerous chances to win. I'm glad they blew them all.
Missed field goal. Yeah, of course you're glad they blew them all.
3 missed field goals.
And you know what bothers me about this game? And I told Chad this last year, is I hate how Florida gets to just. I mean, I'm not going on a rant about Florida fans in general, but they talk so much trash. How we always make it to the SEC championship game every year. But it's like. But winning games by default like this, and then you go and get whooped by 40 by Alabama. I mean, congratulations for going to the SEC championship.
Oh, you guys think
game.
you beat Alabama?
It's gonna happen again. You guys are gonna slide in there now because of little victories like this. I just can't stand it.
Everybody get beat by 40.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. Everyone's going to get beat by 40.
Actually, that's not true
Alabama.
because Clemson
Except Clemson.
Clemson.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No drop-off at quarterback, by the way, at Clemson. I'm really impressed with how they got him. He looks like Deshaun Watson incarnate. He's going to probably be able to be better. Right now, it looks like the way he's I actually watched him play a couple of times already this season. The way he's able to process the defenses quickly to make the decisions. And if it's not there, he doesn't force a lot of interceptions. He'll use his legs to get him out of situations and run. And so I'm impressed with what Clemson's doing to help develop him and how good of an athlete he is and how he's helping Clemson stay up there in the top 5. Hopefully he can keep doing that. So
do you want to transition that in real quick?
Please, no.
Our top.
I got what I wanted to say out.
Sure,
so
top couple guys that we think are in the Heisman race.
Let's talk about Heisman race right now if you want to do it. Darryl, you go first. Who are your top 4 or 5 guys?
Or even 1 or 2 if you can.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, if you don't think 4 are even worthy at week 3, which is totally understandable, tell me who you think your top couple Heisman guys are right now.
I will go with Jalen Hurts. I will go with Baker Mayfield. The running back from Penn State got to be in
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he definitely has
now,
to be in there. I think
any certain order you have them in, or is it all open?
No,
you have a leader?
It's open. It's open.
And
no leader. Daryl's not going to give anybody the nod. I like that.
Baker Mayfield right now probably be my leader.
Yeah.
After what he did last week against Ohio State.
That's huge.
You know,
on national TV. Yeah, everyone saw that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if for mine, I'm going to put Baker number 1, but I've been saying that all year, so I'm going to stick to it. Number 2, I'm probably going to go with John Kelly, and then I'll give Saquon Barkley number 3. And I'm just going to stick with 3 guys right now. I don't think anybody else. I mean, I guess I can keep Lamar Jackson in. I'm going to keep him in. I don't think he played terrible yesterday. I think his defense should have helped him. But, we'll just keep that in there for now. That's probably my 4 for right now.
All right. And again, I don't think that you guys are really whatever being homers or having lots of favoritism to John Kelly just
Not
because
at all.
you know him. He really does have a legitimate shot at it. He's in a big time program. I say big time in quotes. I'm a Tennessee hater. No, I'm just kidding. They're a big time program. Got to get my jabs in there. And John Kelly has his stats are crazy right now. So if Tennessee can go on a run and get in the at least a conversation to be in the playoffs, then he has a good shot if he keeps this up and doesn't get injured. But my top 3, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. I mean, I love to pick the outsider or the one that no one else is talking about, but I got to go Baker Mayfield as well. Right now, he's just the clear favorite, especially with Lamar Jackson again, quote unquote, struggling last night and with Louisville, losing a game, dropping that game so badly against Clemson. And then my number 2 is gonna be Saquon Barkley. Again, 142 yards and a TD yesterday. His stats are also crazy so far. And I'm going to go with the one dark horse, though. I mean, I really think Quentin Flowers has a shot.
Homer pick.
USF,
like
of
it.
course. USF is in the national.
Put my hood on. These homers around here.
On the conversation, they're number 22 in the nation. They're only rise up after yesterday, so they're gonna be in the top 20 after when the national rankings come out. So they're in the national conversation again. So people are gonna start talking about Quentin Flowers.
Well, good. Now, anything else? I want to give Daryl a chance to plug anything he wants to plug. If you want to plug Team DGA or anything like that at the end here. But I want to talk
Twitter handle.
Anything you want to plug, DG? Have your time, man. Get it out there. We got lots of listeners.
Yeah, we got dozens and dozens of listeners.
We have a great presence in Tennessee. There's a few thousand people listening to this podcast.
No, we got a couple thousand people listening.
Yeah, you want to plug anything? Please do.
Follow me on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Coach D Graham DGRAHAM.
That's out there for all the single ladies trying to look at. No, but talk a little bit about kind of what you're doing, because if for those of you who don't know, Daryl ran and does continue to run a very successful program. Started out in the state of Michigan, helping. He coached high school football. He coached John Kelly High School. Coached Mike Weber. Trains a lot of athletes, high school athletes, to be able to help them get opportunities at the next level. And you have several. You got one of the top recruits out of the state of Michigan, Marquand McCall, next year in 2018, who's committed to Kentucky right now. I mean, you continue to help a lot of these players be seen and get notoriety. And now that you've moved, I don't want to put too much of your personal business out there, but you've moved to Nashville, Tennessee recently in the past year. And are you going to continue to do the same thing in Tennessee? Is it something you're trying to do? You're going to keep trying to find athletes? Yeah. Are you going to send them to Tennessee? You're going to let them explore their options? Usually, Daryl's a big Kentucky supporter right now. He's kind of, all over the map right now. But tell us a little bit about kind of what you're doing with that.
Well, my biggest thing is just giving kids opportunity to fulfill their dreams. A lot of kids want to play college football. And I think one of the biggest things as a kid growing up is I want to do something, but having someone there for you to support you and show you the right steps and have the resources to get you there is tremendous help to you. So for me, it was just helping the kids, and I want to continue doing that in Michigan and in Tennessee. But I don't have a particular school. It's pretty much was the best situation for the kids.
Yeah, I know that.
And so
it's crazy talking. He's being humble right now. It's crazy giving us stories yesterday of like he's got connections all over college football. So that's why we wanted to bring him in.
Coaches he knows. They want to bring him in. He's not even sharing what I thought he would share. But that's because Daryl's a humble guy and he doesn't want to kind of brag about the fact I was sitting in this bar talking to such and such a coach. I don't want to say their name about getting certain players. I mean, he's been around. He knows people. He's like Worldwide West. But the Tennessee version. But it's funny because what Daryl's saying is right. For those who don't know, the players that he has playing in college football at the highest levels right now. I mean, I picked up Daryl from the airport on 11 o'clock Friday night when he flew in to stay with me here for the next couple of days while he was here. And we turn on the TV when we get home, and it's like you could turn on a game, and Daryl's had an impact on something. We turn on the Arizona game, and your boy, what's his name?
Bryce Walma.
Tight end for Arizona, true freshman, is leading the team in reception, scored a touchdown on Friday night. They're playing against UTEP. And it's funny how your reach is kind of all over the place, and it was interesting how watching that because what you just said, and that's why I wanted to give people an actual example, is how Bryce had like no scholarship offers going into his senior year. He's like a 6'4", 6'5", 230-pound tight end out of Michigan, from the state of Michigan. Like, no one's recruiting this kid. Then finally, you start working with him, and all of a sudden, Northwestern starts coming and gives him an offer. A bunch of other schools give him an offer.
Yeah.
Tennessee. I mean, teams start offering him, and Darryl, Rich Rod comes in. Darryl had, some connections there, and all of a sudden, he's at Arizona. He's going to be the next Rob Gronkowski out of their nice little H-back they got. So it's good to see that, and it's good. And your website, by the way, if people want to go visit,
www.teamdga.com.
Good. So, a lot of high school athletes out there kind of want to take that next step, but may not know where to go or what to do. Contact Darryl. I mean, he's going to be able to put you in a good position, at least know what you want to do and give you some help. So something else there to look at. So
yeah, we're going a little long here,
Darryl.
but yeah, it's just, and thank you so much, Darryl, for being on the podcast. But we'd be remiss if I know we're way late on time.
Actually, we're not. We're really good. We're supposed to finish around the 55 minute mark.
This one says 53, so this one says, okay, that's the real one. So anyway, okay,
Yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit of next week's
game.
three.
That's all we got left, and then we'll kind of shut it down.
Kind of a bad slate, in my opinion.
I like this slate because
Really?
when there's calm, it means there's going to be some disruption.
Yeah, so
I expect I'm actually got some upset picks for next week. I'm ready to go with. So
well, the only two games that have ranked opponents playing first
each other.
Playing each other. Oklahoma State, TCU.
And upset alert! Nah, Oklahoma State's going to win that game big.
And UCLA and Stanford, although UCLA might drop out now that they're not in it. And the only other good game that I saw on the slate that I'm kind of interested in would be probably USC Cal. That's going to probably be a good one. Cal's 3-0. Hadn't played anyone yet, but
I'm taking Cal to win that game. By the way. You heard it here first.
Wow.
DG, take that, smoke it. That's my upset pick for next week.
Wow, there it is.
So I can come back on here and either get bashed the following week, or that's actually going to happen. The other one I think we should watch out for. I don't think Oklahoma's going to have any problems with Baylor, although they're playing on the road at Baylor. I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State can upset Georgia. I'm not making the pick, but I think that's a possible. The way they played against LSU, we'll see.
Absolutely, man.
Georgia's playing a freshman quarterback right now. I know that
Georgia, they got Jacob Eason.
No, Eason got hurt. From's
did he?
filled in. You didn't watch the Notre Dame Georgia game?
No.
Dude, Eason's got a knee injury. He's going to be out for a while. From's been filling in.
Last weekend I was hunkered down trying to hide.
So was I, but I was still able to follow a little bit with the little bit of power we had. Yeah, you had
power.
nothing.
I had no internet. I had nothing. So I'm not caught up.
I
on
was lucky
football.
enough. I was able to watch some college football on the Saturday in the bunker.
Oh, wow,
I was hunkered
What's his
down
injury?
in.
What's his injury?
Knee injury. Eason's got.
Is he out for the season or?
No, they don't know when he's coming back. They put Smart put no timetable on his return, but he just said he expects him this season. But they like Fromm. Fromm's a Georgia guy. Fromm originally committed to Alabama when Smart was there. When Smart left, he got Fromm to flip and go to Georgia with him. So watch out. He's a very good quarterback. I don't think he's grasped the offense enough yet to be able to understand the passing game, because you look at his passing numbers are never really strong. But I think they're susceptible for an upset. Georgia's lucky they're playing this at home, because if they were playing at Mississippi State, I would in Starkville, I would probably take Mississippi State for the upset. I'm not going to take it here, but I would say this Georgia's on upset alert. I would watch, as Tony Hughes would say, on upset alert.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Florida. I'm going to take Kentucky to win that just because I'm not happy with Florida right now.
Even though Florida has the longest winning streak in the nation of any
about to
Division
end.
One team.
DG, you got me on this?
30 games in a row they've beaten Kentucky.
Now, why are you so high on Kentucky, DG? What's the deal with that? Why would they win this game, you think?
Besides the fact you hate Florida.
Yeah, besides the fact that's why I'm picking Kentucky, because I'm mad at them for beating Tennessee yesterday.
Just seeing the progress of the program from 3 years ago to last year. Every year they're getting better. They're getting closer and closer, and they're starting to win big games.
Now, have you had some conversation with their head coach?
Coach Stoops, I spoke with him about Marquand McCall.
Because he's committed, and then they got a couple other guys that they're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Looking at Enzo Jennings. Anybody else, too, they're looking at out of the state of Michigan?
Rogers. About 5 guys they're looking at right now.
So, I mean, that program is on the rise. I'm going to take Kentucky to win that game. Probably not. We'll see. Now, hold on. Are the usual suspects back next week from Florida, the ones that are suspended?
They're suspended indefinitely at this point.
Expendables, whatever
at this
they
point,
are.
I mean, everyone's kind of ignoring them. They're basically off the team. Who knows if they're coming back? There's no timetable for them to come back. I've already put them out of my mind. Like, we're moving on without them. So I don't think they're going to be back.
Right.
None of them.
There it is.
So, yeah, I'm done with them. Go ahead. What did you say, Darryl?
One more big game.
Which one are you going to talk about?
Florida State?
That may be an upset.
Which one? Oh, please do. You talking about Washington, Colorado?
Penn State and Iowa.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
nah,
good one.
in Iowa too. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
If that was in Happy Valley, I think you're right. I think that's actually a good one.
Iowa's undefeated, right? Isn't Iowa undefeated?
Iowa's ruined some people's seasons the past
Yeah.
couple years. I mean, they can never put it together to put themselves in the running, obviously, but. They like to play spoiler. I think that's a good one to watch too. And I think Colorado too against Washington. I think Washington's going to be able to ride this out, but I think that's one to watch.
And Florida State, NC State too. You know, NC State always gives Florida State a game. Every year.
And Florida State obviously not being able to play this week. You know, I don't know if they're going to come out a little bit flat. I expected that this week, which it did happen. If you saw Florida Tennessee, Florida not even being able to play, they came out really flat as well. Tennessee had no excuse, but. I think there's going to be Chad's right. Not really an exciting slew of games, but like I said, within this calm, and Daryl just alluded to it, the Iowa, Penn State, those games like that, even the ones where I talk about watch out for Cal against USC, these kind of games you think they're going to be easy, just knockdown games. Look out, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida. Some of these games could surprise you. I think we could see some shakeups next week. So I know my late game next week, I'm going to watch that Washington-Colorado game. And I'm definitely going to make sure I tune in to see Penn State, Iowa. So those will be some good games next week. So that's kind of where we stand for now.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Anyone want to wrap it up with plugging our Twitter handle? And it's always Law who does this. Is it 3XOPod?
Hit us up, 3XOPod.com. Hit us up on Twitter at 3XOPod. We're always trying to be more interactive. Obviously, the most important thing, go on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating.
5-star rating,
If you don't like us, just give us a rating anyway. Tell us what you want. Tell us how bad Chad is as being host today, filling in for
I'm the worst.
I thought you did a great job, by the way.
I appreciate it.
It is not easy to
Co-host.
fill the shoes.
Co-host.
Listen, it's not easy to fill the shoes of the one
Law.
Lawrence W. Smith Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that right, by the way.
And we'll talk about what Law was up to today, maybe next week.
Yeah, we
have
should.
conspiracy theories.
I do want to say one shout out. Happy birthday, Trip.
Oh, yeah.
Law's son, big
There you
birthday. I'm unfortunately unable to make it there today. I will be sending my gift. You will be getting it, Law. Don't worry about that. Other than that, I think that's it. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next week.
We're out.
How many people you bless is how you measure success. I don't get no triller than this.